Perfect. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. So I'm grateful that we get to bring assistive technology to the forefront and discuss with you all just a couple of devices as well as software, how it impacts our students and how it can be used to empower them throughout their academic journey. We want you guys to keep note during this that we use assistive technology in our everyday lives, and the pieces that we're talking about today are just bringing those into the forefront. But we do encourage you to keep digging even if we don't talk about some of the devices or assistive tech that you're used to, and keep encouraging our students and our coworkers to go forth and use it. So first up, talking today is going to be Liz, and she's going to discuss Natural Reader with you all. Liz, you're on mute.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry about that. So as Cicely said, we're gonna talk about Natural Reader, which is an app that I'm really excited about. And it's also an app that supports our students in reaching their study experience. It is a cross-platform text-to-speech program that reads any text and documents for us out loud. And this software works on our Apple and Android devices, and it has an extension for Google Chrome that also works on D2L. So once it's downloaded, we can create an account, and we can either upload a document, type text, scan an image, or even copy a page and choose one of our voices, and it will read out loud to us. Other features that are included are the ability to download into an MP3, include closed captioning to read along, and use dark mode that accommodates us for better vision. And another great feature that I found that really useful is the fact that it's cross-platform, meaning that we can start reading in our phones and mobile devices and pick up where we left up on our computers or another device. It will also have all of our saved documents, and every time we log in, whatever device we choose. Up next is the Google Chrome extension, and it's another of my favorite features because this extension is built to read any web page online, including, like I said, anything posted on D2L. And it also has an immersive reading feature, which simplifies a page, omitting extra content for focused reading. And let's watch this little video that gives us an overview of what I've just explained. Cicely, can I help?
Is it not working?
Is it working on you?
Did you know you can have your textbook read aloud for you? Natural Reader can read out loud for you. Listen to anything, anywhere. Just take a picture of any text and you are ready to go.
In the past 15 years, global warming and climate change have become pressing issues that prove how current decisions affect future lives.
Or upload any online document, textbook, or notes. Save time, be more productive, and unlock the freedom to listen on the go with Natural Reader.
Dyslexia is a neurological disorder of genetic origin that affects reading. Importantly, the scholar performance of the dyslexic students depends on several aspects.
Download for free today and give it a try for your next class.
So as we can see, this app helps our student body excel in their academics, and we can also benefit from for our everyday use. As a matter of fact, I use this app to read back to me and help me practice for this presentation. So back to you, Cicely.
Thank you. So the next, well, it's a software platform that we're going to discuss. So the next feature we'll talk about is read and write. So this is something that as a Lone Star educator or student, you have full access to. And for our partners who are joining us from other institutions, this is also going to be a great piece, a feature that you may want to bring on your campus if it's not already there. So the purpose of read and write is really to fill in the gaps for our students who may be struggling with literacy, grammar, note-taking, really any aspect of studying. So this is going to be a helpmate. So ultimately, everything that we're presenting today is to help enhance their academic journey. It's to empower them to get out, to take courses they may have been fearful of due to maybe reading literacy or comprehension, and just really kind of push them to the forefront. So as we go through this read and write presentation piece, I want you guys to think about how can this help to impact my student in a positive way and help push them to the next level. So I am going to talk about just a few of the features, but if you guys have any time to explore this program, I really encourage you guys to dive deep into it, because not only can we use this in the classroom, studying, and in tutoring environments, but also us as professors, admin, and staff, this is also a great tool for us to use as well when we're checking emails and making reports and things of that nature. It's just a really huge helpmate. So let's jump into a couple of the features. So the first feature I wanted to talk about is the highlighting tool, and it's really similar to us just highlighting paper. So this is really going to help our students who may struggle with producing outlines for the classroom, maybe when they need assistance with identifying how to recall information, because what this feature does is students can go through and they can highlight their color of choice, and then they'll click a button. It'll export the document with the highlights out, and it'll form a bibliography for our students. So a lot of times if we have students who struggle with how to make an outline or really how to study, this is going to be one of these tools that we're going to encourage them to use, because it's going to help them really localize the information that they need versus staring at an entire document. So another feature is the audio maker. So this is actually my favorite. So for us as educators, as admin, if we are ones that have to read lots of papers, for example, from our students, if there's a lot of journal entries that we need to read and we don't have time, all we have to do is highlight the text, drop it into this box, and it turns the writing into an MP3 file. This is also going to be super beneficial to our students who may work, who may be students on the go, and instead of having the ability, or instead of them needing the time to read the documents, they can copy and paste it and they can have it read to them. And this is also a big bonus for people who are auditory learners, because it's going to take that information and turn it into an auditory piece so that they have another way to study, another way to absorb information. One of my favorite features on Read and Write is going to be this screenshot reader, because what it does, it takes inaccessible documents and it makes them accessible. So all I have to do is screenshot onto a web page and it's going to read it out loud to me. So this is a great feature if I am someone who has reading fatigue and I just need the screen to be read to me. And then this is also a favorite feature, which I know I've said that before, but this is a screen masking tool. So if I'm someone who uses an Erlen overlay or a colored overlay, or maybe I have reading fatigue, or maybe I just need help with focusing on what I'm reading, this tool is going to allow the student, the admin, the faculty, the staff to make your screen whatever color you want. And then I can also add a reading light, which you see it's blue on this example, and it helps me focus on each sentence at a time. So these are great tools that not only are used for students, but we can also use that helps empower us and moves us forward when we have any type of reading difficulty. And then this feature right here is can be used if you are a person who English is your second language, or if you are learning a new language outside of English. This tool is amazing. So it'll take, let's say my first language is English, and it'll take any English word and it's going to translate it into another language. So although my example right here is Spanish, Read and Write has multiple languages for you to choose from. There's Mandarin, there's Swahili, there's Italian. There's a large list of all the different types of languages. If, for example, English is not my first language, what I can do is highlight the word in the sentence, and it's going to read it to me. So it's going to give me the pronunciation as well as a translated word. So as you see, this far reaches so many different aspects. So if I'm a student and I am concerned or nervous about taking maybe a higher level English course because I'm still working on my English comprehension, this is going to allow us to take a step further, because you don't have to understand fully, because Read and Write is going to help fill in that gap. It's going to help bridge that gap for the student. So Along with the installed version of Read and Write, you also have Chrome extension features that are phenomenal. And we're only going to talk about 2 for time's sake, but I do encourage you to go back in and look at a couple of different features. So let's talk about Rewordify. So Rewordify allows students who may struggle with comprehension or students who just may need context clues. It helps fill that gap. So as you see the box that I have highlighted in red, this is what the original web page looks like. When I click that Rewordify tool, it simplifies the meaning of the more difficult words on the page. So you'll see it took the word prestigious, and if you look into the black highlighted box, it now says famous or respected. So what it does, it just simplifies the word so that students can have better comprehension. So this is going to allow them to read more, let's say, difficult journal articles, peer review articles. If they're not picking up the context clues from the paragraph around them, it'll simplify the words. Now they don't have to worry about the context clues. They don't have to figure out what that word means, and they don't have to get stuck because it's going to assist them with simplifying the words. So if they need an even more simplified way to view any type of academic journals or assignments, they can use the Simplify Page tool. And what that allows our students to do is it pulls out all of the distracting features and it summarizes the page. So here's the example. Right there, you see that the picture has disappeared and all the external links, and it gives the student a good summary of the page. And if the student needs it even more, they click that Simplify tool again, and it's going to give them a simplified version. And so all of these tools are made to empower our students so that they don't have to feel worried or anxious or afraid about moving through their academic career in higher ed, because they now have a help tool that will walk with them throughout their journey.
All right, so now we're going to discuss the OrCam Read. So the OrCam Read is a handheld device that is used to provide people with low vision and visual impairments an independent reading experience. It can also help people with dyslexia who may have a hard time reading printed text. The device is handheld and uses OCR technology to capture and convert printed text into speech. So we're going to go over how a student can use this in the classroom and how they can use this outside of the classroom as well. All right, so how can the OrCam Read help? The OrCam Read captures printed text using its camera to convert it to speech. This allows users to hear the contents of books, newspapers, menus, labels, and other printed materials read aloud to them in real time. The OrCam Read can assist with learning disabilities such as dyslexia by reducing the cognitive load that comes with decoding learning outcomes. The OrCam Read can also provide independence and accessibility to printed materials to empower people to engage in more educational, professional, and recreational activities without relying heavily on assistance from a sighted person. All right, and this is what the OrCam Read looks like. It's compact, lightweight, and discreet. It has a camera unit that captures and processes printed text. It also has an LED light near the camera to illuminate the text being captured. There are 2 targeting lasers below the camera that help with precise alignment and focusing. At the top of the OrCam Read, you will see the power button, the volume buttons, and the trigger button. All right, so how does the OrCam Read work? To turn on the OrCam Read, you will press the power button for 2 seconds. You will then hear a beep and OrCam is ready. To turn off the OrCam Read, you will press the power button and you will then hear suspending. Press again to shut down. When the OrCam Read is powering off, you will hear suspended. To access the menu, you will press the power button along with the plus sign button. You will use the plus sign and minus buttons to navigate through the menu, and then you will press the trigger button once you need to select your choice. All right, and then you can also activate an option that is called Hey OrCam. It's a good tool for people with visual impairments who may struggle with accessing the correct buttons. You can use your voice to control the OrCam Read so that it better fits your needs. All right. And so OrCam Read, we're going to continue to talk about how it works. To capture text, you will press the trigger button. The OrCam Read will then make a series of clicking sounds when it has captured the text. Following that, you will hear a series of more beeping noises while the OrCam Read is analyzing the text. You will hear the text start to be read aloud, and you can press the trigger button to either pause or resume the reading. The OrCam Read will let you know when it is done reading with the chime sound. All right. One of the features of the OrCam Read is that it has laser point reading, or whole page reading. You can press both the plus and minus sign buttons to switch between laser point modes or whole page mode. With laser point mode, you can focus on a specific paragraph or word to begin capturing the text that you want read aloud. With whole page reading, you will capture the entire document to have the entire document read out loud. You can adjust or customize your reading experience, such as changing the reading speed and the volume. This can be helpful to those with learning disabilities who may need to slow down the reading speed for better comprehension. You can also set up commands to easily find the exact information you are looking for by saying, read me the headlines, or start from a specific word. This can help students find a starting point and hopefully avoid feeling overwhelmed if the reading seems like too much. All right, and so with the OrCam Read, Wi-Fi is not required. It was created to be a standalone device to assist with reading printed text. It has a mini speaker that can that is used, to read the text out loud. There are also headphones included with the OrCam Read, and you can also connect to Bluetooth headphones. This will allow people to be able to take this out in the public areas and be able to still use the OrCam Read and listen to whatever is being captured through the text. All right, the OrCam Read has vocal commands as well. You can change that through the settings. So the way you do that is by double pressing the trigger button. You will hear a long beep. You will then ask a question such as, what is the time? The OrCam Read will then make a chime sound and will tell you the time. Some examples of vocal commands you can use with the OrCam Read are tell the date, tell the battery status, volume up, and volume down. You can also say, hey, OrCam, followed by a vocal command instead of using the trigger button. So the OrCam Read is a great tool that provides accessibility so that people with visual impairments and learning disabilities can feel confident to head out in the world and interact with it. All right, we're going to turn it over to Liz.
Hello again. So next we're gonna introduce another useful assistive technology device I enjoy utilizing, and it's called the Rocketbook. So the Rocketbook is an eco-friendly reusable notebook that connects our actual handwritten notes and our artwork to our preferred cloud. This notebook is super useful for those of us that do not like sticky notes, and some of us who like to keep track of our handwritten notes in case we lose them. We will have them at the tip of our fingers. So through the Rocketbook app, once we set it up, our scanned notes can travel through the cloud using what is called destinations. And our notes can also use the feature called OCR that turns any handwritten notes into typed notes. So we can fix any mistakes before saving them to the cloud. Another feature that this notebook uses is that it only uses dry erase pens, and because as others will permanently stain the notebook. As we can see, this is how it works. So we handwrite it, and with our app, we scan it, and then it goes directly to the cloud. If you don't want to go, you don't want to have it to go directly to the cloud, you can also change it to, you can manually do it, in case you need to do any changes. And then once it's done, we can erase it and then reuse. So previously I have mentioned the destinations. With destinations, there are little icons that are at the bottom of each page of our notebooks. And these icons are also featured in our apps. And the icons, you're supposed to mark them on your notebook. So once you scan it, the app detects it and sends it to their cloud. So we're gonna watch another video that explains a little bit of what I just explained. If I can get it to play. So as we can see, this notebook can be useful by impacting our student body, enhancing their education needs, and it also helps us to train us, keeping us organized in our everyday projects and goals. So back to Cicely.
Hello again. I think I might have went too far. So I'm going to talk to you about another software platform, and it's called Equatio. And the basis of this platform is to just make math and science accessible. And so I'm just going to talk about a few features of the program and how it's going to assist our students to really encourage them to be independent math and science students, and how it can impact them along their journey. The biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this is that this program is going to help encourage our students to take higher math. Let's say if they're anything like me, I was not the greatest math student for most of my college career. And if I would have had this tool, I think it would have taken a lot of the anxiety away that I was experiencing related to math. And so let's jump straight into it and talk about some of the features. So the first feature I want to talk about is Equatio Mobile. And this one is probably the one that I'm the most excited about, because what it allows the students to do is work their problems in real time. Work their problems in real time while they're in the math class. So say, for example, I'm an instructor and I really like to write on the board, and I want my students to work the problems through that I've written on the board. If I don't have the ability to, let's say, write out math problems, whether it's because I may have some dexterity impairment, or I just don't have the ability, or maybe I get confused when looking at a math problem on a board and writing it on my paper, all the student has to do is take a picture of the QR code that you see right here, and then they take a picture of the problem that's on the board, and it is exported into Equatio. And from there, they can start in real time working through the digital math on their laptop. So it really helps kind of pull them back into the classroom environment, and allows them to be a part of that journey the same way their other classmates are, who can just write it down easily on their paper. So this feature right here is called the LaTeX feature, and I feel like this is probably more for our math instructors, and it allows you to pull the LaTeX from a web page or wherever you're getting your math problems, put it into Equatio, and then as you see, it transforms the math right in front of you, and it can do it vice versa. So if you have math problems that you want to convert to LaTeX, this program is also going to allow you to do that. So it really has a huge impact on what we're able to do in a shortened amount of time. So this next feature is the graphing feature. So if I have a student who really struggles with how to plot points, and they just need some extra practice, or they even need a visual of what this looks like, or if we as ourselves need a visual to make sure that we are plotting the correct points, all we have to do is, as you see on the left side of here, is to input the formula right here on the left. We can color code it, and what it does is it pulls up and plots the points for us in real time. And then an added feature is it actually makes sounds, which I think it's fun, but you could actually hear what your plotted graph points sound like. The next feature in Equatio that I want to talk about is the equation editor. And what this does is this really bridges the gap for a lot of our students when it comes to building equations. And so what Equation Editor does, it has hundreds of icons that our students can choose from, and they can literally build their math equations and their science equations just within this editor, and then they can put it into their homework, or if they have a scratch piece of paper or anything of that nature. So there's several things that they're going to be able to do with this once they have it at their fingertips. So I'm pretty excited about this, because once a student works out a problem in the math equation editor, like I said, they can either insert it into their homework, or they can insert it into their scratch paper. And so this tool right here that popped up is MathSpace. MathSpace is designed for anyone who is in the STEM field. And so if you are needing to show placement of where light bulbs go, batteries, ground wiring, this is going to give you the capability to do that with 2 clicks of a button, instead of having to sit down with drawing paper and draw it out, and it makes it legible and easy to understand. With MathSpace, it's going to give us hundreds of tools to choose from. So if I need a Venn diagram, I can pop into this app and pull the Venn diagram out. Or if I need to graph a chart, I have that feature as well. So there's a ton of different tools and ways in which we can use math space that will help enhance the academic environment when it comes to math or science, and really encourage our students to stretch themselves and grow in this area where they may have been fearful before or just worried about not being able to show up. So another great tool that Equatio has to offer us is handwriting. So if I'm a person who likes to handwrite my math and I need it to be digitized, that's going to be something that Equatio is going to do. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So I'm writing out my problem, and as I'm writing out my problem, as you see, it's digitizing that math. So another feature is their dictation. And so if I'm a person who needs to speak my math because maybe I struggle with writing it out, all I need to do is talk to the program, and it's going to take my speech and it's going to digitize it perfectly. So it's going to write it out exactly as I say it. This is going to be one of the only programs that do this. A lot of our dictation software does not have the capability to do this and oftentimes will not dictate it correctly, whereas Equatio will. And this is just another example of the equation editor. So here's a really cool feature that they recently added. It's specifically for faculty, and it's an AI feature. And what it will do is create a test for you in a matter of seconds. So if all I want to do is, let's say I'm like, I want a pop quiz and I have 30 minutes before class. You pull up Equatio, you click on their forms creator, and what it'll do is it'll give us a little form that pops up. I can say I want 20 questions. The topic is pop quiz, and then I choose my academic level. So I can say college algebra, pre-calculus, organic chemistry, and what it's going to do is immediately populate an exam for me utilizing AI. And then from that point, my students can interact with me with this program and take their pop quiz. So it's a really cool feature they just introduced. So I would definitely say take some time and play around with it because it's phenomenal and it really incorporates Equatio, but it also helps us on the faculty side with creating tests and exams quicker. So in addition to those math features we talked about, Equatio also offers science features. And so we have the periodic table. So when students need to, let's say, learn a little bit more about the periodic table, we can click into the different elements and it's going to give us atomic number, atomic mass. It's even going to pronounce it for the student. And so the student can then take that and further their research by clicking on that read more at Wikipedia, and it's going to send them to a web browser to get additional information. So this is really going to help our students who may struggle with the elements on the periodic table, don't really understand the full meaning, and it's going to give them a lot of different information that's going to be added right into that. The next one, which is my favorite, is the molecular viewer. So this builds full molecules right in front of the student, and then what they can do is get a 3D version of it. So if I'm an online student, for an example, and I'm taking a virtual lab, this is going to allow me to see all the different areas of that molecule just the same way I could do if I was in a classroom with a physical one. So you're going to get that 360-degree view of that molecule in this molecular viewer, and the student can really put in anything that they want and it's going to pop up. And then last but certainly not least is going to be the scientific calculator. And this is just any type of standard scientific calculator. It's just in a virtual option. And this is going to be great if we have a student who may utilize Braille. And so what that student can do is plug their refreshable Braille display right into the computer, and then they can just interact just as anyone else would. So it's pretty exciting that they have this feature. So that's going to be it for me, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it over.
All right, so now we're going to go over LiveScribe Smart Pens. So they allow you to work as you would with any other pen. It can record as you're writing, and it can also allow you to digitize your handwriting notes at a later time. You can also work live, recording audio notes and watching as the text appears on the app. Conversion to digital text is accurate and simple, and you have lots of export options if you need to share these documents. The LiveScribe pen can help students with certain disabilities that cause note-taking challenges. Students can focus on listening to the lecture while the pen records and synchronizes with the student's text. This will allow students to review and understand the material outside of the classroom. All right, so this is what the LiveScribe Symphony pen looks like. For connectivity, it has wireless, Bluetooth, and USB connection. It can store up to 1,200 pages of normal writing. To turn the power on and off, you just simply either put the cap on or off. It is rechargeable, can give you up to 10 hours of continuous writing and 45 days of standby time before having to recharge. It gives you status indicators with the light. If it's blue, you can tell that it's connected to Bluetooth. If it's lighting up in red, you know that there's an issue and it's something that you would need to fix. The LiveScribe pen is also used with the LiveScribe Plus app, where all of your documents will be stored as well as your recordings. And so the use of the LiveScribe pen app, the use of the LiveScribe Plus app is very helpful for students to keep them organized. It can help students with ADHD or other cognitive abilities who may struggle with organizing and managing their notes. Right, and so this is an example of what the LiveScribe notebook looks like. Students can pause, stop recordings, slow down, or speed up playback and make bookmarks in their notes. They would simply tap those indicators with their pen. You can also see that you can bookmark a specific section of the lecture if you feel that the instructor has said something important, there's a due date, or said something that is going to be on an exam. You can bookmark it to then easily access it in the LiveScribe Plus app. Right, and then to access your recorded lectures and handwritten notes, it's also very beneficial that it's all going to be in one place. So it can help students that have different ways of learning it. If they need to reread it, or if it's more of an auditory thing, they can listen to it as well. So the LiveScribe pen requires dot paper that has microdots on its surface. You can see a sample of that on here. The LiveScribe pen detects the dots and tracks which page you are writing on and the exact location of the page, which will then make it easier for you to find the important information that you need to access.
Mhm.
All right, and on this next slide, we're going to watch a quick video that's going to show you how the pen works, as well as how to access the app. If you could go ahead and play that, Cicely.
The LiveScribe 3 Smart Pen turns your words into action. Your handwritten notes instantly appear on your tablet or smartphone. Once on your device, it's easy to convert your handwriting into text and send it to your friends or colleagues. Your tablet or smartphone can record audio as you write to capture the things you don't.
Hi, this is Mr. Green. I'm calling to confirm my reservation on April 18th.
Certainly, I have you down for 2 people at 7:30 p.m.
And your address is 252 California Street in San Francisco, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Excellent. We're looking forward to it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Your notes become more useful when they appear in your favorite apps. Simply tap your notes to play back audio from that moment in time.
252 California Street in San Francisco, correct?
With the LiveScribe 3 Smart Pen, turn your words into action.
All right, so there you got an example of how the pen works and how you would use that with the app. Another plus about the app, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, it's not moving forward. There we go. So the LiveScribe app is going to allow you to store your documents and share them through a Dropbox or email. You can set it up to where it is a quick one-tap setting so that you don't have to worry about going through multiple steps. So the LiveScribe pen can empower students to be more independent in their learning. Students can capture the required information in real time without relying on note-taking assistance from others. And this can help students become more confident and self-reliant. And we're going to turn it back over to Cicely.
All right, so lastly, we're going to talk about Otter AI. So essentially, this is another software platform, as you see a theme with me, and this is going to transcribe and record audio for students. And so this is something that we want to use in lieu of a note taker, or for us, if we're sitting in meetings, instead of us having to designate a note taker, we can just pull this program up, click the record button, and it's going to record the entire lecture, the entire meeting, and it's also going to transcribe with real-time captions while it's happening. And then once the meeting is done, it's going to give us a summary report of the entire lecture or the entire meeting. So if I'm a student who needs note-taking assistance and I want more independence versus relying on a peer note taker or relying on my instructor for slides or notes afterwards, this is going to be the perfect solution for that. Remember, our ultimate goal in higher education is to empower our students to be able to do things on their own. So when they go out into the world, they can continue working autonomously. And this is going to be one of those devices that's going to assist them with that. Because what they can do is later on, they can add in their lecture notes, they can highlight important parts of the lecture, and they can also add on to the notes that are already taken for them. And then if it's a virtual setting, it's going to automatically capture those lecture notes and add them in. And so this tool is just great when we want to encourage our students to be independent. If we have our students who may be a little nervous about going into a classroom and taking notes on their own for the first time because they feel like maybe they missed too much information, this is going to be great assistive technology that we're going to want to encourage them. So we are done. I think we have about 5 minutes. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Yeah, I can read off of. There's a couple of questions here in the chat. You were just about to hit your 5-minute warning. So we'll call it the 6-minute warning. So the first question was near the beginning of the presentation. It was about read and write. It says, how does read and write handle the Texas twang as far as note taking?
So of course, the dictation piece is not perfect, but I will say that it picks up the majority of words that you say and dictates fairly well. I would say if it was someone who needed more of, let's say, an intense dictation software program who had a rather, let's say, a heavier accent, then we would probably suggest Dragon, which we didn't talk about today. But I feel like Read and Write does pretty well. I feel like their dictation piece is about the same as VoiceOver for Apple or dictation in Word. It's about what and what, even with the Texas twang.
All right, and the other question in there is, did I miss if there was a cost to Equatio?
So we did not talk about cost because it's going to vary depending upon your institution. However, if you work at Lone Star, if you are a student, staff, or faculty member at Lone Star, we already have the program for free that you can use. And so there's going to be articles in VTAC that will show you how to set it up on your Chrome extension or how to install it, or feel free to contact me and I can walk you through it. Now, if you're at a different college and you are interested in Read and Write, I would encourage you to reach out to Text Help. And what they'll do is they'll make a package for your institution with pricing. But if you're here at Lone Star, it's free and we already have it.
Awesome. Well, those are the only 2 questions that are in there. If anyone else has a question, you can put it in the QA box and I'll read it out. Otherwise, we have about 4 minutes here before the session just cut off.
No other questions?
I did see that somebody just asked a question on the webinar chat. They're asking that if all of these are free. For the natural reader, it is free to use. The only time you have to pay is if you want AI voices, but honestly, the free voices are just as good. Some sound robotic, but you can tweak it. But the free voices that they have are good enough. And then if you really want to try some AI voices or premium voices, they actually give you like access to it every day, like for 20 minutes a day. And would you guys want to elaborate on the other apps?
Equatio is going to be free as well if you work at Lone Star, whether you're a student, staff, or faculty member, because those are the software that my department pays for the entire system. So Equatio or Read and Write, whether it's the installed version or the Chrome extension, you have full access to. If you have any questions about how to download that, there are going to be articles and VTAC, excuse me, excuse me, or you can feel free to contact me and I'll walk you through how to do that. Now, Otter is different. Depending upon your campus, you may have access to Otter, but that is something that is paid separately from campus to campus. Hope that answers it well.
see a question that's in the regular chat. It said, where would the students get the pens from? Are the pens free?
So the pens are not free. It's something that we do have access to in our assistive technology lab. The LiveScribe pens you can check out for the semester. Or CamRead pen, that's not something that we would check out for the semester, but a student can check that out to use in the testing center if they need help with that. And they can also use it here in the assistive technology lab.
And the caveat with that is, I don't know if most of y'all know, but all of our campuses have assistive technology lab that is full of assistive technology, but those devices are only available to our students who are registered with Disability Services or the Accessibility Services office on your campus. However, if any of you all are curious, please feel free to pop down to any of our AT labs to check the equipment out so that you can get a better feel for it and familiarize yourself with that as well.